and we're gonna rock and roll.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome to Ignite, Skills to Spark a Great Career. This is the elemental section, so the second half of Ignite. And today's focus is session 5, buyer consultations. Joining us in the room is Nick, and on Zoom is Shonda. All right.
Hello.
Let's start. Let's bring the energy up in the call or in the class today, and let's name something that we are grateful for. Okay, it's a technique that I personally like to use, especially at the beginning of a week. Today for us in this time space is Monday, so it's the beginning of our week. So I, from Ignite so far, I am grateful as an instructor for this to have had the opportunity to polish up my skills a little bit and to share some of the personal stories in a way that I hope my participants and students have benefited from. So that's what I'm grateful for. Shonda?
Well, I am grateful for, in fact, this morning I watched a sermon that talked about having an attitude of gratitude. And I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to pursue my dream career as being a realtor, and the obstacles that I went through prior to making this decision, the good and the bad. I'm grateful for those because I think it has taught me a lot and will equip me to be a great agent in my new career. So I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you. Nick, do you want to say?
Yeah.
Come on up to my screen here. Join me up here.
How y'all
Hi,
doing?
Nick. Hello.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
I'm thankful for this experience so far. Like I said, I just started. And so I'm really thankful for Wes and everybody that's helped me along the way to get started in this career. And it is something that I cannot wait to start doing. And so, like I said, I'm just super thankful for this team and everything they've done for me.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to it. Today, our focus is on using the buyer consultation to get a signed buyer representation agreement. Sometimes we call it a loyalty agreement. This is the first step to closing a relationship with a buyer, making sure that that buyer is loyal to you. As always, I'd like to remind us of what successful agents do every day. Successful agents work in growing their business and running their business every day. Today's particular focus is going to be in growing our business with number 3, make buyer presentations and get listings.
Okay.
Here's the roadmap for today, little expectations. We're going to work, we're going to learn how to set the appointment. We're going to prepare the buyer presentation. We're going to conduct the buyer consultation, which will include the loyalty agreement in there somewhere. And then we're going to have a period for recaps, ahas, and I'm going to remind you of your daily 10-4, which are the success habits. You have seen the funnel. This is essentially everyone you've ever met, okay? This is everyone who knows you and knows that you're in real estate, or everyone that you know that you will let them know that you're in real estate. So the funnel, all leads are captured in the top of our funnel, and then they become leads in that we're tracking their real estate needs. It is typically one-way offer-based touch programs. So this will be a 33 to convert. No, 33 to connect. Oh gosh, I'm screwing it up. There's a couple different, hey Lexi. Hey. There's a couple different drip campaigns that we use for leads and for contacts. Well, we've covered them in previous sessions, but this is just sort of a reminder. They move from leads to contacts. Contacts are raising their hand to say, hey, I'd like to do real estate business. Then we move them to step 4, cultivating them. We're nurturing them, we're qualifying them to see how we can help them and when we can help them. And then when they are ready to do business, the first step in that is step number 5, the appointment phase. And that's where we're at today. This is an example of what an appointment could look like. And the appointment we're focused on today is a buyer appointment. So once you have an A buyer, it is time to close the appointment. At this time, you'll also want to add or update your opportunity in your command database. So you're going to move them from lead or contact or cultivate, wherever you have them, into the appointment phase. This means you're going to meet with them face to face. All right, so the goal of the buyer consultation appointment is a signed buyer agreement. Setting the tone for closing the buyer appointment begins with the invitation to meet for the buyer consultation. If you're working in your, if you have printed out your Elemental script book, I'm on page 14. If not, I'm going to open it up here. That would be a better idea. Let me do it here.
Can
So-
you, where can I get that book from?
Can you still see my screen?
I can, yes. Is
Yeah,
that-
so if you go to gulfsouthignite.com,
Okay,
this is our homepage essentially. And we are right here, number 5, buyer consultations.
okay.
And across the top of the homepage, which is gulfsouthignite.com, you will see the Zoom link. Would you rather sit, can you see, or would you rather sit on a stool? Okay. You'll see the Zoom link, which is how I'm seeing you guys on the Zoom. If you go to the Ignite materials, that's where you're going to find what I'm about to show you. But while I have you here, I'm going to might as well just show you guys the videos here. If you go to the video section, you can go back and watch sessions that we've already done. And that's part of the reason we're not doing a hybrid right now, is I'm looking for a good solid recording to sort of update these sessions.
Okay.
So you can see that I think this session was updated. See Katie Hannah. Whoops. This session, this has not been updated actually. This is back in my old office. So, but this is what it would look like. Essentially, you guys are going to be in the next recording. So, up your game. If you go into the Ignite materials, you will see all the materials available. So the Ignite toolkit is going to have all your tools. Weeks 1 and 2 and week 3 and 4 are going to have all the session materials. You can look at the PowerPoint that I'm using today. You can look at my instructor manual that I'm getting my notes from. And you can look at your participant guide, which has all the blanks, the workbook style sessions.
Okay.
The Ignite toolkit is going to have all the ancillary materials. So you'll see buyer lead sheet. So when you get on the phone and you're talking to a buyer, here's all the questions you want to ask them. A checklist for reviewing an offer. You'll see your daily 10-4 if you want to keep track of your successful activities. And here are the script books. Here's the Elemental script book, and here is the Spark script book. So Spark is all about how to get the appointment. Elementals is all about what to do once you have the appointment. So today we're going to be looking at the Elemental script book.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at page 14. I love it when Lexi joins us because I always feel like I'm in the big city because she always has that traffic noise wherever. It reminds me of New York City. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. How'd you know?
What do you live, like right off the interstate? Like what, near the airport? What is it?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah, that's
You're-
fair.
You're
That's fair. You got to protect the innocent. That's fair. You're a stranger. Oh, I know that quote. Home Alone. You just leveled up, Lexi. Good job. All right. So on page 14, you'll see this is the script book. This is available to you. It's produced by KWRI and Labs, which is the it's a resource for you. The following script details a simple way to obtain an exclusive agreement called the Buyer Representation Agreement. I call it a loyalty agreement because I think it sounds better. because when you're talking to the buyer, you don't want to say, here, now we are going to sign the buyer representation. Buyers don't understand our language. I say, hey, listen, I'd like to go over the loyalty agreement with you. Okay. So let's see the script given by KWRI, and then I'll kind of use my script.
Okay.
All I ask in exchange for my superior customer service promise is that you agree to work with me exclusively. Does that sound fair? Yeah, great. Okay, can we sign and shake on that? Awesome. Fist bump, elbow bump, mask, whatever you're doing. And then you provide the buyer with the buyer representation agreement, explain it, have them sign it. Then you shake hands. What we're going to do now, and here's another version of the script. What we're going to do now is sign the buyer representation agreement, which puts me to work for you. You're giving me the tool I need to represent you on your purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal. And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? That's called a tie down. You guys want to learn the right scripts, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Correct.
Right. So that's called a tie down. A tie down is followed by a pregnant pause or silence. It begs for a response. And
Mhm.
it also leaves you with not much of an option but to agree with me. And sometimes I even shake my head. As I shake my head, you all shook your head too.
Mhm.
I nodded my head. You do want you right?
Mhm.
And you all kind of, yeah, I do. Yeah, okay, great. All right, then perfect. Then let's do the right thing, sign the buyer representation agreement, and put me to work for you. Option 2, can you see how it would benefit you to have a professional looking out for your best interests as you search for the best home and negotiate to get the best deal? You can see that, right?
Mhm.
Right. Great. This form allows me to represent you and look out for your interests. Here's how we take care. Here's how we take care of that. You just need to okay this agreement right here. And then an additional one. No, that's it. All right. So the way I usually have covered this, just sort of in my unscripted, scripted way, is I say, one thing I've added in there is, hey, so listen, thanks for joining me here today. We're going to look at all your options and we're going to really knock this out for you and we're going to find you the best home. And listen, I've made a promise to my family that I would work with people I would make people a priority that have made me a priority. Okay. So can we agree right now that if you see a home that you're interested in, you're going to call me before calling anybody else? That includes signs by other brokerages, signs without my name on them, and even for sell by owner signs. If you see a red and white sign and you're curious about it, just take a picture, text me the picture, text me the phone number, and I will pursue that on your behalf. And in exchange for this, I'm going to put you at the top of my priority list. Is that fair? Does that sound okay?
Mhm.
Great. So this is the agreement that just says that I'm going to be your realtor and you're going to be my client. And so we'll just go through this real quick here, and then I just go through the document. Pretty simple. The document, you will hear veteran agent. Now listen, believe it or not, there are veteran agents out there who do not use this document. And they will tell you, no, I forget about it. It's not worth the paper it's written on, so I don't worry about it. It's not for me. It takes too much time. They're going to give you a bunch of reasons. While some of those things might be slightly true, the buyer agency agreement or the loyalty agreement, you're not going to be able to sue the buyer and get a commission if they choose to stop working with you. Listen, they can fire you. I mean, what if you suck? What if you are not good? They should fire you. Yet, that's not gonna happen to any of you, so don't worry. Uh, But while the document may not hold up in court, where it does hold up is in the court of the relationship between you and the buyer. There's something to be said about the conversation around this buyer loyalty agreement. In having the conversation is where the relationship is built. The conversation is where the commitment is built, right?
Mhm.
You see two people stand in front of each other in a marriage and say, I do, you do, I do, we do. Okay, we do.
Right.
They do sign a piece of paper. But the piece of paper, while it might be legal and it's the word, the commitment out loud is where that commitment is based. Same thing here. I agreed to work with you, so I gave you my word. The paper is secondary.
Okay.
Where the paper is important is when we deal with agents from other brokerages. So if there's an agent from another brokerage who kind of elbows their way into your relationship with your buyer, maybe they meet your buyer at an open house, maybe they forget to ask if your buyer is already working with a realtor. If that occurs, then your buyer loyalty agreement signed by them helps me to go to bat for you whenever you are having a dispute over a commission disagreement. I can come back and say, listen, we've been working with this buyer for 3 weeks. We've shown them 12 houses. This house was on our list. They stopped at an open house and you didn't ask them if they were working with a realtor. So we have procuring cause. I can make that argument when I have paper. When I don't have paper, that argument is tough.
Right.
It's really, really difficult to explain, that you didn't get fired, that, it's tough. So these are the reasons that we use these things. Would you like to see a buyer loyalty agreement?
Yeah.
Nope. So I'm going into Flex MLS. I'm going into transaction desk within the Flex MLS. I could also go into command, I guess. We have them stored in command as well. And I'm going to go into forms. You know what? It might not be. Actually, I don't know if this is our document or the raw boards document. Let's see. Yeah, that's when you spell the word properly. So the MLS calls it the buyer agency agreement. So buyer agency agreement. Now, I've seen this document slightly edited and called a loyalty agreement. It's the retainer agreement says the buyer name below, hereinafter to refer to as the client, hereby retains, appoints, and authorizes the buyer's broker, name below as the sole and exclusive agent of the client in locating and or negotiating the purchase of the real property described below. The terms of this agreement, here's the time and the dates and all the things that this covers. Broker's obligation is consideration for this agreement. Buyer's broker agrees to obey all lawful requests, keep information that could materially harm the client's negotiation position confidential. That would include the highest price a buyer might offer for a property. We have to keep that stuff confidential.
Right.
Use diligence in locating properties acceptable to the client. Use the buyer's broker's professional knowledge, skills, and expertise in assisting the client during the negotiations for the purchase of the property. Act in the client's best interest at all times by seeking a transaction at the price and terms stated, timely presenting all offers, timely accounting for all money, exercise reasonable skill. It's basically doing your job, but it's spells it all out. Client's obligation: work exclusively with the buyer's broker or his designated agent. Furnish the buyer's broker with all relevant personal and financial information. Pay the broker's commission. Compensation: client agrees to compensate buyer's broker if the client or any other person acting in the client's behalf purchases, obtains an option on, or exchanges for any real property. The amount of compensation shall be, and right there you put 3% of the gross amount of any purchase agreement. Such compensation shall be earned if such agreement is negotiated within 90 days after the expiration of this offer. And then you describe the property. A 3-2 in Lafayette or the surrounding parishes. You kind of be kind of generic. You're looking for what they're looking for, but you kind of do want to be pretty general about this. You don't want to be, it's not one property, it's all the properties.
Okay.
Very clear. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, let's talk about preparing the buyer presentation. All right, in designs, yes, the last session we went over the listing presentation. We're going to go right back into designs and templates. Whoa. So we're in, well, let me go backwards so that everybody can see how I got here. So this is command. So this is our CRM design database central. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go back home. Okay. All right, so this is what your home screen looks like. You'll have, it'll say welcome home you. Obviously, Nick, you don't have this yet. But the rest of you, Vanessa's probably going to get it very soon. But Lexi's been playing with this for a while now. And Shonda, you probably reactivated this, I'm sure. You have access to this?
I don't think I have it yet, but it will. She said it will be reactivated, like I said, probably this week.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So in here, if you hover over the icons, it tells you what they are all the way down. And what we're going to be looking at right now is designs. Designs is a Canva-esque design program. The cool thing about this is all the templates are already pre-made. So you could just save a lot of work and effort and just edit them. So if you go down here to the blue plus sign, we're going to add a new space. I'm going to call this a print document because I want to bring a paper copy with me to my buyer presentation. I can also use a slideshow if I want to use like a computer or a iPad or something like that. All the templates that are pre-built are over here in the search words. So I'm going to go to buyer. There's neighborhood snap option. There's one on Keller Mortgage. And then I'm going to look at buyer presentation right now. And here's the 5 choices that I have of pre-made buyer presentations. A couple pro tips. if you're printing this out, like from a home computer, don't pick the black one.
You run out of ink.
It's just I mean, it's just economical. It, digitally, it might look cool. I mean, but if you're printing it, don't do that. Does anybody like any one more than the other?
Can we see I'd like to see what the black one looks like.
Sure.
Can we change any of the colors, or is it pretty much set in stone?
It is customizable.
Mhm.
And I've not gone in and changed the color. But yes, you can.
Okay, great.
Wes, are you doing this in your office?
Yes?
Is there any reason I can't come in there and join you?
No?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Bring a stool. Yeah, so you can and listen, changing the colors is useful, because whatever you're choosing to brand yourself as,
Right.
I would keep that color across the way. Most people probably stick to the red and the black, red, black, white, gray. If you start getting a little crazy, I say crazy. If you start getting outside of the KW model, here, Vanessa, you can have this stool. No, don't stand. Have a seat. Yeah, you can sit next to me. People, go ahead and turn yours off though. Okay. People, one of the reasons you join KW is for the branding already in existence.
Mhm.
So if you're using Keller Williams stuff, you throw in a green in there, they're not going to really remember what company you were with. So just be creative, but be aware of that. If you go all pink or all green or all blue, they might start not remembering what company you're with, and that's almost counterproductive.
Gotcha.
So I would, you can do, your brand, like your name in a color, but try to make sure it complements. I would advise you to stick with a complementary tone to the red and the red and the gray and the black, because people are going to recognize KW before they're going to recognize you. That's the point. Eventually, all the people that know you are going to think of you as real estate, and they're going to start to forget about Keller Williams. That's okay. But you want to borrow from the KW brand in the beginning.
Okay.
That'll make it easier for them to remember that you're in real estate.
Okay.
That's not a rule. It's just a piece of advice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. And then also, if you think about like our signage, that top white portion has to stay the same, and the bottom red portion, it has to be baseline red.
Mhm.
If you come in there with a Kelly green, it's gonna look Christmassy. It's probably gonna be counterproductive. Yeah.
Got you.
Yet you may want to stick with a particular font, right? If you've got if you pick a font that is like your font, well, then you want to use that font on everything.
Right.
The branding aspect that's attached to it.
Okay.
Okay. This particular program here goes straight through the buyer consultation. It even gives you an instruction page. So like when you leave this video with me and you go in there and you're like, wait, what did Wes say? Read the instructions. They're right there. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, it's right there. Just go through it.
Okay.
Don't include this page when you hand this to, when you go through the actual presentation after you've built it with your buyer, you want to delete this page out of it. Something that the reason that KW went through all this trouble to go through all of these resources for you is all about helping you to build your client's experience. When you open this presentation up and you've got their name written right there in this cool font on this big screen or on your iPad, or it looks custom, it gives them the impression that you really went through a lot and you're giving them the attention they deserve as your client.
Okay.
So I recommend this. I don't recommend skipping this.
Right.
Even if you cut half of it out and you do a little quick thing, there's something about building the consultation for your buyer that really makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing goes with the next page. Right here, it says a custom consultation prepared for your client's name and then compliments, and it's got all of you, like all your stuff on there, right?
Okay.
And you might screen grab, like a Facebook of their family, right? Or,
Oh, okay.
something that makes it custom, and it might, you scroll to this page and they go, oh, we so
Yeah.
cute. Little things like that is about building the experience for your client. It shows them that you stopped and thought about them.
Right. I
Right.
like the idea. Okay.
Yeah. And then, you tease them, you say, y'all look how good y'all look I'm thinking about using y'all on all my campaigns. Can I get you to sign this waiver here? No, I'm just kidding. This is just for y'all. I just wanted y'all to know y'all were important. And then you go to the next. And look, don't skip this for your clients who you've already got, like your sister, your brother-in-law. Like, don't skip this step because they deserve to get the experience just like you would for a stranger.
That's true. Yeah.
And that I'm speaking this from experience. If it was my sister, I would just start showing them houses because I knew that they were good for it. But they missed out on this experience. Shame on me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So you go through your table of contents. You let them know what you're going to cover in this 30-minute session. You talk about what it takes to make a sound decision and how you're going to be a consultant for them. You're going to help them. You're going to tell them that their needs come first. And then you begin sort of having them visualize the perfect scenario. All right, guys, listen, we're going to take 1 minute. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture your future. I did it with you today, Nick. It's a year from now. You invite me over for coffee at your new house. You've been in it a year. It's amazing. It's awesome. Tell me what about it is perfect. Describe it for me. And then they start telling like we got a great kitchen table in a big, living, a big dining room.
Mm-hmm.
I never have to look at my husband's clothes because he has his separate closet. If that's the first two things they say, because that's weird. Most people are going to talk about the kitchen, the living room, the backyard. But if this person starts saying, a separate closet, I need a separate closet. I don't want to look at his shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that means this is important. And now you know it, right? Because you're asking the question in a different way. I can just come out and say, okay, tell me what's important. And they're going to say 3.2, 1,800 square feet with a big backyard located in Youngsville. Okay, that's the basics. But when you have them step into the future and visualize their home a year from now, they probably have not done that yet. So you are being a true consultant. And now, look what I've done. I have stepped into the future with them. because I'm sitting at their kitchen table a year from now. That means a year from now, y'all still gonna be my clients. I'm not gonna forget about y'all.
Yeah.
So you're cementing this relationship, and you're helping them to visualize it. An additional thing, if you've got two decision makers at the table with you, which you should, if there are two decision makers, they should both be here for this.
Okay.
In some ways, this is the first time they've heard each other say it out loud. Now you like veritable marriage counseling at this point. Not really, but you're providing that opportunity for them to discuss and make sure that they're on the same page.
Yeah.
Because you guys live life here in 2021. If your life is anything like my life and my life is anything like your client's life, that couple has not sat down for 15 minutes to discuss this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Texted back and forth, or they, okay, babe, you have the appointment with the realtor today. 3-2 Youngsville. Remember that, okay? Okay, baby, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not what your life looks like.
Exactly.
Or, you can imagine that's what their life looks like. So you sitting them down and slowing everything down long enough to visualize what the future could look like, that's helpful. It's powerful and it's experiential.
Yeah.
The digital company that they're scrolling homes through is not going to be able to do that with them.
Right.
All right. You can talk to them about your app and explain how useful that is. And then you want to build your preference profile. So you're going to go through the basics. Have you considered who my main contact will be? You guys want me to join, let's assume we're talking to a couple, two decision makers. Do you guys want me to create a group? Here's what I normally do, y'all. I create a group text in which all of us are communicating with each other. That way we all see everything and nothing gets lost. Is that acceptable to you, or would you prefer something different? Now, what I'm doing here is, this is the way I prefer to communicate. Me. Don't call me. Don't call me. Don't call me, y'all. Like none of y'all. I'm happy to help, but if you call me, you're going to get my voicemail. To wit, I'm not going to listen, and I'm just going to call you back anyway because I saw I missed your number.
Mm-hmm.
So, I haven't listened to a voicemail in 3 years.
Join the club.
Does anybody listen to voicemail anymore?
No.
3 years ago, I downloaded an app on my phone that would convert my voicemail to text. Because I can look at a text in a meeting, right? I got to call Shonda. Oh, Lexi screwed up again. I got to call Lexi,
Whatever, bro. Got jokes today, Wes.
Whatever, bro. Okay, yeah. So I prefer this. So I'm going to offer it to them to make my life easier. That's not selfish. That's efficient. Because if they prefer phone calls, I'll do that. But that's not my preferred method. So I'm going to ask them what their preferred method is, or I'm going to suggest a solution that works for me. It's kind of like when I made this appointment with the buyer, I told them, I said, okay, guys, well, look, it looks like our next step is it's time for us to get together and really look at your next house. So I have an opening tomorrow at 3:00, or would 5:30 be better for y'all? I gave them two choices.
Right.
They have the power to choose, and it's two choices that are good for me. Because I'm a professional.
Yes.
And I live my life by a schedule.
Yes.
I'm free to make the schedule, but once I make the schedule, I'm bound to follow the schedule.
Right.
There's a lot of freedom in real estate. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of flexibility, but it's not optional. All right. So I gave them two choices. It's kind of like I do with my little people, them little children I'm raising. I give them I give them choices. I give them choices. Do you want to clean your room now, or do you want to wash the dishes first? I don't care either way. But I don't. Your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay. Either one of them things is fine with me. They're both getting done, but how you do it is okay. Do you want to take 10 minutes to clean the dishes, or do you want to take an hour? It's up to you.
It's gonna get done.
Anyway. And the moral of the story is treat your clients like children and you will make money. Just kidding. All right, so you move to your home wish list. This is all part of the consultation. Who will be living in this home? Now, I want everyone to pay attention to how that question is asked. Who will be living in this home is a very efficient way of getting the answer of who's going to be living in the home. And it's a very efficient way of avoiding any protected class issues, fair housing issues.
Okay.
I'm looking at a couple in front of me. I don't know if they're married. I don't know if they have children. I don't know if they're going to adopt children. I don't know if they have dogs. I don't know if they have their grandmother living with. I don't know any of these questions. But if I start asking them in a specific directed way, I could be getting into some water that's a little fair housing-y or uncomfortable or makes assumptions. Why would I make assumptions? Right. And also I avoid all the things, right? I could say, I see a couple that in my mind, for whatever reason, for all of my preconceptions, assume they have children. So your kid's going to be living with you guys? Oh, we don't have children. They all died in a car accident. Oh my God.
Right.
I just, I walked right into that, or, how would I assume a grandmother's going to be living in there? Like, no assumptions. So I actually learned this question years ago from Carol the Fox Barons, who's an excellent agent here in Lafayette. And I always give her credit for this question. Who will be living in the home with you? The answer to that gives me everything I need to know without it stepping on any toes or weird things. Oh, well, it's going to be the two of us. My mother, we need a mother-in-law suite type situation because my mom visits us from Oregon and she stays for 2 weeks at a time, 3 times a year. And we have 3 children, all above the age of 10, but less than the age of 19. So one of them is going to be moving out within a year. So we could double up on 2 of them because we'll get the room later. Woo! That's perfect. That's all the information I needed.
Yep.
What are the non-negotiables for your home? What are the must-haves? I like to separate the must-haves from the would nice to be ifs. Right? The non-negotiables from the I really would like. A swimming pool is sometimes a non-negotiable. Sometimes people don't want homes with swimming pools. I am one of those people. I have smaller children. I don't want a swimming pool. Plus, a swimming pool is a chore that I do not want to have. That's me. I do not want to come home after work and clean the pool.
Yeah.
I don't want to wake up Saturday morning to an awesome day of swimming after I clean the pool. It's just, I'm not interested in that job. I also don't want 3 acres of land because I don't want to mow 3 acres of land. I also don't want to put in my budget to pay someone else to mow 3 acres of land. It's not worth it to me. Yeah. A swimming pool is $200 to $300 a month if you pay someone else to do it. So have that in the budget for these people who want swimming pools. If you had to name your top 5 non-negotiables, what would they be? I love the consistency in these questions of asking the question and then going deeper, right? Hey, what's the must-haves? We gotta have 4 bedrooms. Okay, well, tell me what makes that the case. Why is it that you say that? Tell me more about that. Can you tell me why that's a non-negotiable? What is it what is it you need the 4th bedroom for? What is it, whatever. Just deep, 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 deep. Because they may tell you, I need a 4th bedroom because I need an office. Okay, well, so what I hear you say, if we get 3 bedrooms with a great office space, would that work for you? Oh yeah, that'll work too. If I'd have never asked that question, I'd have been stuck on 4 bedrooms. I'd have never considered 3 bedrooms with an office. I would rather ask them 50 questions and show them 5 houses than ask them 5 questions and show them 50 houses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a funny example that I heard years ago from a real estate coach. Situation was, new agent asking the buyers a bunch of, few questions, ready to go show houses, and they say they want a big backyard. He says, great. They want a private backyard is the word they use. Okay, cool. So he goes, searches all the houses that have nobody in their backyards. So all the houses are like out in the country. They've got like cane fields or forests or, prairie or water. It's all houses with nothing behind them. And so he shows them, 5 of these houses. And they go, hey, these are real nice, but like, we kind of would like to be closer to the city. Like, why are we looking at all these houses out in the country? And he goes, well, you said you wanted a private backyard. Well, no, a fence would be enough. Oh, okay, cool. She goes back and shows them, all these fenced in houses, and all these things. Finally, after showing him 10, 12 houses, he finally asked the question, hey, tell me why you want a private backyard. What's important about a private backyard that you need? And the father of this family goes, I live in a house with 5 women. I want to be able, during the commercial break in the game, I want to run out to the back porch, relieve myself if I must, and run back in because all my bathrooms are always filled with women. And I can't wait my turn. I'm going to miss the game. So the agent's like, okay, well, if I find you a half bath downstairs, would that work? Oh, yeah, that's cool too. Oh. And the moral of the story is ask all the questions.
Yes.
Ask them until they can't answer it. Right? Here's the thing. We get so excited often that we make the assumptions that we understand what they want before, and then we just rush to go find that house. Sometimes our desire is to serve them quicker and faster. Well, let's go find that house quick because we got to get you in there. The unintended consequence of that is they feel rushed and they feel not listened to.
Mm-hmm.
When the opposite is true, when we care enough to ask these deep questions, many of them deeply, they truly feel like we are really listening to them. They feel like we understand what they're asking for, and their experience improves. We show them less houses, waste less time, and still end up finding them in the house quicker. All right, so it goes through a number of pages in the consultation. You guys can read that on your own. I want to highlight how buying a home works. If you don't use any of these sheets, except for this one, then this is that I started that statement and I can't finish it. If you're going to use only 2 sheets in this thing, I would use these. I would make sure these 2 sheets, that's dumb too. If you're going to take some of the pages out of this thing to shorten it, don't take these out. Because this is the home buying process. If you hand your buyer this, it's going to save you 10 phone calls over the next 6 weeks. If they can refer to this, I would give this to them in paper. I would email this to them, and I would text this to them so they can refer to the process as we move through it. This is going to say, this is going to be, this is, they're going to remember this as high communication. So as you go through the process, and then my new agents in the room, this is going to be an excellent resource for you because you're going to be able to understand. Let me see if I can print this. No, I'll have to download it. All right. But this gives you the whole process of buying a house. So you're going to be able to text them, okay, guys, we're past step 3. We're moving on to step 4. We're making an offer, you know, whatever. You're going to be able to refer to this. And as you refer to it throughout the process, that's the less random calls you're going to have to receive. If they're calling you saying, okay, man, what's next? You're not doing your job at the highest level you could. You need to be more proactive. If they haven't gotten their financing together yet, which they should have probably already, this is the reminder to them if their lender hasn't given them an idea of what buying a home, what the process from the finances looks like. My new agents in the room, this would be useful for you to review to gain a quick understanding of the process as a whole. Home loans made simple here. More accolades for them to choose you over someone else. This is your promise to them. I think it's a clever little thing that you can edit. A promise to our community. This is selling Keller Williams to them and how you work for a company that supports the community and its agents. And then I like the glossary at the end. It's commonly used terms. There you go. Any questions on this?
No.
Very, very useful.
Yeah, very.
I guess I could have used my slides. It might have been easier to read. All right. Conduct a buyer consultation. I feel like I've kind of done this already. Let me see. Let's go back to the scripts. You go back to your toolkits. Script book, page 14. Okay, let's look at handling objections to exclusivity. Objection number one, I don't want to sign anything. I may want to work with other agents. This is a rarity, and if you've been following the Ignite, we use a lot of statistics from the National Association of Realtors. Most people, the first agent they interview, they work with. But you may encounter this objection. Here's a handler for it. When you engage with me as a real estate sales representative and sign the buyer representation agreement with me, I am contractually obligated to share any information about the seller's situation that I find out. For example, if it is a divorce, a relocation, or an estate sale. Without that agreement in place, I am actually a sub-agent to the seller. That means that I do not represent you, and I cannot share that information with you. I want to be your advocate, not theirs. Let's do the right thing and sign the buyer representation agreement today. What if I change my mind in 30 days? Hey, listen, I understand completely. Think of this agreement as a form of going steady, but not marriage. If you decide at any time that you do not want to go steady anymore, we can just break up. There's no need for a divorce. And you can break up with me if I'm not meeting your expectations. Don't you wish you had that agreement with your current relationship? Don't say that, I'm just kidding. If you feel that was a funny for you guys. Don't sell that to them. Okay. If you feel comfortable with that, you could just okay the agreement with your initials. I can find a home on my own through the internet. Searching for homes is the fun part. And we will certainly use the internet to find your home. Finding your dream home is not why you hire a buyer agent. You hire a buyer agent to help you get the house you find. My job is to protect your interests, to be your advocate throughout the home buying process and negotiate on your behalf to get you the best price and terms. I'm here to get you the house of your dreams in the shortest time frame and at the best price. How do you know when to let the buyer go? Let's say that this buyer calls you after hours, expects you to drop everything and show them a house right now, has asked you to see 14 houses and won't narrow it down, has gone to see 8 houses and won't make a decision, maybe refuses to get pre-approved. How do you handle that? Okay, Mr. Buyer, look, I appreciate your decision. Since I can only work with buyers who work exclusively with me and who are willing to set their budget and get pre-approved with a lender, I'll just have to wish you luck in your home search. Thank you again for coming in to meet with me today, and let me know if your mind changes.
Yeah.
Some of the best clients I've ever had are the ones I never worked with. Okay? Because the worst clients I've ever had, I knew when I sat down right here, I knew I should have told them no.
Yeah.
I knew it, but I gutted it out. I worked through it. I got paid, but look, I worked for every dime.
Yeah.
When you go to that closing table and you know that you are never going to call them back, like I'm getting paid because I got too much time in you, but I hate you. Right?
You're not going to send them the Christmas card.
Hey guys, I'm so happy you found your house. So look, we're gonna do a little thing right now. Open your phone. Okay, yeah. Go to my contact.
Delete.
Yeah, I've got a new phone number. So delete my phone number. Okay. Never mind. Just save it right there. Some clients are not meant for you. Okay. And
And that's okay.
That's okay.
It is.
Because I've learned to have an attitude of abundance. And if they're not meant for me, that means if I work and scrunch and kind of claw my way through the deal with them, I may have stolen the opportunity away from another agent who would have been perfect for them.
Yeah.
Right? That's an attitude of scarcity. Now, some of us, we ain't got no money. So right now is our season to claw through them all. Okay. Maybe so. And I'm gonna help you through it. And not every buyer is for you, and you're not for every buyer.
Right.
Not every client is yours. You do not have to say yes. That's why you got in this business. You can say no. That's not your boss. You agree to work with them. They're lucky if they get to work with you and your professional self.
Yep.
I went a little off right there. I might have to edit the video. I don't know if I got unprofessional or not. Okay, anyway. This continues, and I'm not going to go through, I don't think I need to go through all these scripts. I just want you to understand that this resource is here for you, and that when you don't know what to say, it's already been written down. I promise you. Well, how do you get paid, Wes? Oh, listen, the listing agent makes an agreement with the seller, and they agree on a commission. The commission is very commonly 5 to 6%. Based on the agreed upon sale price of the house. So that listing agent typically offers half of their commission to any other agents in the industry that bring them a ready, willing, and able buyer that actually buys the house. So essentially the seller pays my commission.
Mhm.
You mean I don't pay it? No, you don't. So why wouldn't I work with you? Because I work with you, you work for me for free. Yes, I do. You should work with me. There's no reason not to.
Right.
Some people think they get a better deal if they don't have a broker involved. Well, if he doesn't have to pay you, then I can get that 3% off the side, off the sale price. Well, you would think that, yet you may be paying too much for it. One, so you're losing money there. And honestly, that commission is already negotiated. So if you call the sales agent, the listing agent, if you call them instead of using me, they're just going to keep the whole 6%. It doesn't change it. And if that buyer is thinking that way, pay attention to them, because they may not be very loyal. If they're asking out of a lack of education and they're generally just asking, well, then educate them. But if they're asking to try to get theirs before you get yours, and just like, you gotta watch them. You gotta watch that person. Please ask him.
Doesn't that mean that if they were thinking that way, then basically the seller rep doesn't have their best interest at heart? I mean, because
If
now
who was
they're
thinking,
represent-
if
because
who
now
was thinking that,
you're the client that you're trying to get, because now the seller's rep is representing both the buyer and the seller. And really, when you do that, you have to have
a dual agency
Yeah,
agreement
so-
signed.
so.
So the question, I'll repeat the question. Vanessa in the room is asking that, or is
thinking-
making the observation that if that buyer were to choose to go to the listing agent directly to try to save money, in effect, that listing agent has to get a dual agency agreement signed prior to even speak to advising them. And at the point where dual agency exists, the agent is really representing the deal. They're keeping confidential information confidential from both sides. They knew the seller first. Do you really want that scenario?
Yeah, they're not.
You-
That seller's-
You're not going to
that
get a better
seller's-
deal.
That seller's
Right.
agent is not keeping your best interest at heart.
Yeah, I would, yeah, if I'm trying to get this buyer to work with me or help him to see the dangers, yes.
I mean, they have.
I would, let me offer this. Can you guys hear Vanessa at all or not really?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so rather than making the statement, that's listing agent doesn't have your best interests. You can't, I mean, you can't really say that because I've represented clients in a dual agency scenario and I absolutely had both best interests and I absolutely kept, we can do that.
Mhm.
The way you would want to present that in this scenario with a prospective buyer is you ask that question. Well, if the selling agent represented that seller first, who do you think, whose best interest do you think they have at the forefront?
The sellers. I would say the sellers.
Maybe. So, I mean, if that's the case, doesn't it behoove you to have a buyer's agent
Right,
representing your best interests directly?
right.
Because if you oversell that, if you make that kind of semi-accusation that a seller, that a listing agent can't, a listing agent's not going to have your bet, well, then it just feels a little ickier. It feels a little different. It's a totally different feeling if you ask the question, they answer their question, and then you're like, well, I mean, if that were the scenario, wouldn't you rather me on your side?
Yeah.
Well, now you come in and save the day. If you say that selling agent's not going to have your best interest, so you got to choose me, use me, it feels totally different. It feels like the freedom's out of it. If you ask the question, they answer that question, you're like, well, don't you want me? And they're like, yes, I do want you. Well, okay, I'll be your buyer's agent. It's a whole, and a lot of this is in how you say it, when you say it. That comes with practice and experience. And I'm not amazing. I didn't become an expert at many of these ways of saying things accidentally. I memorized the scripts. Almost everything I say is a script that I've just internalized.
Right.
The question I just gave Vanessa as an alternative to her observation is a script that I probably just read it. I've read it before. Well, whose best interest do you think they have at the forefront?
There.
The seller. Well, if that's the case, don't you want somebody representing your best interests? Let's do the right thing. Let's just choose me in the beginning and let's go forward. Let's do the right thing. That's a script. I just internalized it. Okay, I've done a lot of talking at you. Let's pause here. What questions do you have? We're not finished, but we're nearing the end of today's session. But I just want to make sure that we're all doing well. Any questions kind of scratching your brain a little bit?
This is a lot of great information.
Okay.
You've actually answered one of my questions that I had. I have family members who know that I'm a realtor and they'll call me and say, I'm looking for example, one family member, she does not want to go and get pre-approved, but she wants me to show her houses. And my response to her was, these sellers will not allow anyone in their home unless they are pre-approved. So, I kind of told her that to make her understand the importance of taking that step, even though I told her, I don't want to show houses that are not within the price point that you're approved for or getting your hopes up. It's like I almost had to get to that point where I said, look, I can't show you any houses unless you're pre-approved because no one's showing houses. Well, she ended up contacting someone who had a sign in their yard, and that realtor showed her the house. So it kind of made it look as though I just did not want to work with her. But she's not talking to the banks. And like you said, every client is not for us. I want to work with her if I can, but if she's not going to follow what I need, then, if she prefers working with someone else, I'm going to have to just accept that reality. So,
what could you do to get her to talk to a lender?
so this is what's going on. She's an elderly lady, and she's depending on her children who lives out of town to co-sign on a loan for her. And I think they're kind of giving her the runaround.
The children,
Yes, because they don't want that responsibility.
they don't want to co-sign.
Correct. Yeah. So it's one of those situations.
So is she going to be able to get the money?
She cannot get approved by herself because she's self-employed and she doesn't show a profit. So it looks as though she does not have enough earnings to borrow. She needs to have co-signers. And so, her children she's relying on them to do that. I've sent her contact information on lenders, and it's pretty much that's where she is. She's just waiting to get some co-signers.
So how many houses do you want to show her for fun?
None.
None.
I don't want.
None. She's not a real buyer.
It's gonna upset her. It's, like you said, it's I feel like I'd be misleading her and getting her hopes up for something that she may never even get.
See, oftentimes, so the reason people don't want to talk to lenders, it's fear. It's always it more often than not, it's about fear. And sometimes it's simply the fear of the breaking of the dream.
Yeah.
It's like you have you have a tummy ache, but you're scared that it's something big, but you don't want to go to the doctor and find out because you're afraid to find out the truth, but really got to go find out because that makes no sense. Because if it's something, you need to do something about it, but you put it off because you're afraid to find out the truth. You with me?
Yeah.
It's that. If they're afraid to find out that they can't buy a house, because then they have to stop dreaming, or they're afraid, they fear that they have to stop dreaming. When, as long as they don't know for sure, they can live in the fantasy a little while longer. And, I don't know that I can't buy a house, so let me dream about it for a little while. It's like HGTV Live.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants you to go and show her houses like Chip and Jo.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. And she don't,
Your time is money.
your time, I mean,
Yeah.
let me present it to you this way. Time is money. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's truthful. Let me present it to you this way. Everything we say yes to do, everything we say yes to, for everything we say yes to, we say no to something else.
That's right.
Because we can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go show her a house for fun, that means you're not hanging out with your children, your friend, your spouse. You're not reading a book for fun. You're not working out. You're not, you with me?
Yeah,
I'll trade time if I can get a compensation that allows me to do something else that I want to do.
right.
But that's about it. I mean, I don't want to hang out with her just for fun. Unless, of course, you're going to hang out with her anyway, because you want to give her some time because she's lonely or whatever. Well, take her to see a house. Go ahead. You're going to preview some property. You got to preview your Ignite standard is you got to preview 10 homes a week.
Mm-hmm.
You can justify it that way in that you're doing market research.
Mm-hmm.
And go let her pick the 10 houses. You can do that if that be what you want to do with your time.
Mm-hmm.
But she ain't, if her children don't want to co-sign, something for her, that should tell you, that tells us something.
Right. Yeah. So
She rents right now or she lives in a home?
she's renting.
Yeah.
She's been renting for years.
Yeah. Let's go find some more clients.
Yes.
Love her where she's at. And you gotta do market research. So if you want to make her 5 choices part of your research and that still makes sense in your goals, then to me that's justifiable. Go ahead. Practice, because I mean you're getting back in the game.
Right.
You can practice with her, but you're not dropping everything on a Saturday to run and go do something that she has a whim about. No. It's got to fit in your schedule, in your time frame. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Good question. One thing we want to push or offer, we do want to push this because it's an advantage to your client to use our app. Zillow has an app that is taking the market, and oftentimes it's inaccurate. Now that they're a broker, it'll probably get to be more and more accurate. The thing is that if they use our KW app, they have the advantage of connecting with you directly and quicker. Also, the KW app is geo-synced, so they can drive to an area that they think is lovely and just open their app and it'll show them everything that is active in that area. And so they can essentially start shopping by neighborhood. They can just drive to an area that they love and are curious about, and they can open up their app and they can click on the house and say, they can send you a message through the app that says, I want to see this house.
Okay.
So we want to offer this to all of our clients. It also makes you look extremely technical and professional. So this makes the experience even tighter with your clients, both buyers and sellers. In the app, they can actually save homes and build a collection of homes. You also get to see all of that stuff, and you can see what they're looking at, what they're liking, and you can kind of start having, you could direct your conversations at a higher level. All right. What are ahas? What did you learn today that you're going to take into your practice or that's changed your life?
I do like the way you incorporated the quote of "Let's do what's right." Just adding that to my conversation instead of it seeming as though I'm trying to convince them to do something because if it's my best interest, but we're trying to do this right. It shows that we're professional. We have standards that we are putting in place, and when we ask our clients to do something, it's for a great reason, not just because I'm asking them to do something that, just for myself. So I
Let's
like
do the right thing.
do the right thing.
Let's do the right thing. Let's sign this paper.
Yeah. And the next step,
Let's
give
do-
them expectations.
Let's do the right thing. Let's make sure you can actually buy this house.
Mhm.
You get your hopes up. What was the next thing?
And laying out the expectations, I've never really used that buyer's presentation before. And that's why I want to start from scratch and just begin as though I want to kind of unlearn everything I did before and do everything from scratch. Because I never thought that that was important. Even like you said, the loyalty agreement. At first, I wasn't getting that signed either. So I understand the importance of that as well. So I will definitely be implementing some systems, and that buyer presentation will be one of them as well. I think it's
Awesome.
a great tool to use.
Awesome. Good deal. Anybody else? It's a lot of information. If you missed or if you're taking all the Ignites You're going, you'll come back full circle. But if you want to go backwards and look at the pre-listing, oh yeah, no, never mind. Never mind. They are uploaded, but I was thinking of a pre-listing packet for listing a house. It's not really a pre-listing packet for meeting with a buyer. Generally, you can get a buyer in and just have a consultation with them. But a pre-listing packet is, Shonda said a thing that made me think of it, but I wasn't thinking of the right thing. Pre-listing packet is you send it before the listing appointment. It helps you look professional and kind of sells you ahead of the time, and kind of like it goes and edifies you ahead of time. So it's nice.
Mhm.
Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything else to offer, I want to remind you of the daily 10-4 every day. We're tracking our success in speaking to 10 people about real estate a day, adding 10 people to our database a day, sending out 10 handwritten notes, oftentimes thank you cards, or it could be announcement cards, to 10 a day, and then previewing 10 properties a week.
Where's that listed at, Wes?
Stand by.
Daily 10-4.
Right there.
Can I take a picture of it real quick?
Sure.
All right, great, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay.
I have one more question. Really quickly, one more question. You mentioned that there is an app to convert your voicemails to text. Do you know what service that is?
It was called Umail, I think.
Okay.
Ymail or Umail?
Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, no worries. And it would actually, it had a computer generated voice that would say, would name the caller, hello, Chanda, Wesley is unable to get to the phone, or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
If you take phone duty, you have to have a voicemail that says Keller Williams Realty Acadiana.
Mhm.
So I don't remember if you can program it to say that. But if you cannot, then you can't take phone duty.
Okay.
Just be aware of that.
Okay.
When I got it, I wasn't in practice, so I wasn't taking phone duty, so it didn't matter.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks again for everything.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
It's good to see you back in it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.